There's a lot of debate and discussion about hashtag usage on Facebook in particular. And there's not necessarily one answer to whether or not you should use hashtags. It depends on why you're using them and who your audience is. When we look at the hashtag use on Whole Foods, though, what you see here is that hashtag pie is maybe a big, broad hashtag that I wonder if anyone is actually going into Facebook and searching for hashtag pie. So to maybe back up a second, the idea of using hashtags is that they grow your visibility. The way a hashtag grows your visibility is you use a hashtag and people who are interested in that hashtag will go and search for content around it. So let's say, for example, I love a certain TV show and there's a hashtag used for the TV show. Well, I may choose to follow that hashtag to see what other people are saying about the TV show. So if it's a hashtag that people actually use, follow, and search for, it can grow your visibility. If it's not, there's not really a good point to using it. The other thing that we know about Facebook is people don't really search and look for hashtags so much. The reason that we see people don't use hashtags so often on Facebook versus other channels like Instagram and Twitter is that most accounts on Facebook are private. So since most people have their accounts set to private on Facebook, it doesn't really make sense to search for a hashtag, because what you'll see is if I click on this hashtag pie to do a Facebook search to see all of the people who are posting with hashtag pie, what you'll see is if I look at my friends' posts, most of these are over 6 months old. So first of all, not a lot of people use them, so you don't get great results. So I can see posts from my friends with hashtag pie. I can see photos that are publicly available with hashtag pie. But then mostly, if I look at public posts, you'll see I'm going to see a lot of just like business pages. I may find some influencers who keep their posts public. But the big difference with hashtag usage on Facebook versus other social networks is most people on Facebook keep their posts private. So if I used hashtag pie in a regular post, no one could find it except my friends. So what you often find on Facebook is if you do a search for a hashtag like hashtag pie, you will find mostly posts from businesses. And you can see that right here, right? A lot of posts from businesses. I'm not really seeing a lot of relevant content because my friends, one, don't use hashtags very often, and two, it's a smaller group of people that I'm friends with versus on Instagram where I can see everyone who's used hashtag pie. So the reason that hashtags are less used on Facebook versus other channels is that they typically don't result in the visibility of your content like they do in other channels. So just using hashtag pie in the Whole Foods Facebook post is unlikely to really generate a lot of incremental reach because people don't really use Facebook that way where they're looking up hashtags very frequently. So if you're using hashtags as a way to grow visibility like you would on Instagram, for example, you'll probably find that it doesn't work as well on Facebook. The other challenge with hashtags on Facebook is that some people in your Facebook audience will probably find them annoying. For example, if you think of the audience on Facebook, which now really represents the entire population, if I think of 100 people that I know who are on Facebook, I would say most of the younger people like and use and enjoy hashtags, especially on Instagram. But as I start looking at an audience maybe over, you could argue the age that I'll choose, but let's say over 30, maybe over 35, they don't really understand what hashtags they are. And in fact, many of them find them annoying because they don't really know what they are or why they're there. So you also want to think about your specific audience and are they likely to be receptive to hashtags? Or do they not understand them and find them an annoying distraction? So as you look at who your audience is, and you could use your Facebook insights to see who your audience is in terms of age group and how tech savvy they are by looking at some of their behaviors and characteristics, you could start to determine whether or not they're likely to enjoy hashtags or find them annoying. The other consideration when you're thinking about whether or not you should use hashtags on Facebook is if you have a custom branded hashtag. So in the case of Whole Foods, they created hashtag makes me whole. And my guess is that this is a hashtag that they're trying to use across channels. So I would suspect if we were to look at Whole Foods on Twitter and Whole Foods on Instagram, they're probably using this hashtag there as well because we see them using it very consistently in their posts. So if you have a branded hashtag that you're really trying to push, first of all, only choose one. I sometimes see brands that have like hashtag makes me whole, hashtag Whole Foods, hashtag Whole Foods rocks, hashtag Whole Foods pies. Choose one branded hashtag that you're really trying to promote, and that's okay to have in your post because even though, again, on Facebook, not a lot of people may use or search for the hashtag, what you're doing by using your branded hashtag on Facebook is you're starting to just train and signal to your audience to use this when they talk about your brand or business. So I actually like seeing the makes me whole hashtag here from that perspective where I think that it's a good way to sort of train your audience. Another way we sometimes see hashtags used is in a fun or interesting way. So it's not used in this post, but sometimes you'll see people use, like if I think of this post, you could see a brand that puts hashtag OMG yummy, yummy, yummy. Now, they're not using that hashtag because people actually are searching for that hashtag. In this case, they're using it as a sort of fun way to enhance the content of the post. And if you're thinking of using hashtags in that sort of fun way on Facebook, really, again, just make sure it's something your audience is likely to be receptive to. Generally speaking, if you have an older or less tech-savvy audience, they won't think that this stuff is funny and interesting. They kind of will just be like, I don't get it. And, you're wasting characters and space and attention on something that doesn't add value to them. So as you're thinking about your Facebook strategy, these are some of the things to consider when using hashtags. Of course, if you want to start incorporating hashtags into your posts, first aim for one, maybe two for most pages. Again, unless your audience is incredibly tech savvy or for some reason loves hashtags, try to limit the number of hashtags that you're using and also test them. So test your audience. How do they respond to hashtags versus non-hashtagged posts? Are you able to notice a significant difference in your either engagement rates, response rates, or view rates of those posts? And that'll help you to understand whether or not your audience likes them. So that's a quick overview of hashtags in posts and how you should be thinking about them.